Hey, good morning, guys. It is September 10th, and Chambers is in John 1, where he's starting to call the disciples. He's called Philip and Andrew, and then Philip goes to, he's called Andrew and Peter. Andrew and Peter, and then Philip. And Philip goes and finds, it's interesting, Philip goes and gets Nathaniel. Nathaniel's not one that Jesus says, follow me, which I guess he didn't say it to all of them, but Philip goes and finds Nathanael and says, "Hey, we found the one that the prophet spoke of." And Nathanael comes and he says, "Wait, can anything good come from Nazareth?" And Jesus greets him and he says, "How do you know me?" In John chapter 1. And he says, "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." So basically he's saying, "I knew you. I knew you before you ever met me. I knew you." And so Chambers takes that idea and says that there's an old expression that says character is who you are when no one's looking, and that's kind of a I don't know it's a I don't know if that's an okay, it's a decent summary of what Chambers is kind of focusing on today. Character, or not really character, but the person um, that God calls you to be in public only grows from the person you are in private, and so before God. So that's what Chambers is kind of focusing on today. And he, to that end, he says the big crisis. So when the big events come, that will only reveal the stuff we are made of. It will not put anything into us. Crisis does not create character. Crisis reveals character. And so what he's saying is in the quiet times, in the private times, that's when we need to be building relationship with God. And so, like Jesus says, "I knew you." The trick then is to say, okay, when I'm under the fig tree, when I'm by myself in private, that's when I need to be knowing Jesus. Um, if you are not doing the thing, Chamber says here, that lies nearest, okay, if you're not doing the thing that lies nearest, the thing that God has put right in your vicinity, if you're not doing that, being faithful with the small things, because God has engineered that, when the crisis comes, instead of being revealed as fit, you will be revealed as unfit. Crisis always reveals character. So that's what I just said. I guess I had read it already, but I guess I wanted to think that I was original there, but I wasn't. I just was repeating Chambers. Um, it's like we working out and then being at some point called upon to do some heavy lifting. You can't do the heavy lifting if you haven't done the lifting in private, done the workouts. All right, and so Chambers' language here is a little tricky, but worship aright in your private relationships. So worship the right way in your private relationships. Then, when God sets you free, you will be ready, because in the unseen life, which no one saw but God, you've become perfectly fit. And when the strain comes, you can be relied upon by God. Um, yeah, I think I see this. You see this a lot in. I remember talking at my dad's funeral, and I said I compared it to, and it's race training. I compared it to race training for the 10 miler, and I said because I had trained for the 10 miler when I worked on Pantops Mountain, I worked at the top of Pantops Mountain at Peter Jefferson Place, and because I had trained for the 10 miler, this is one of my the first race I ever ran was a 10 miler, because I trained on the hills, because we used to run down Pantops and back up, and I thought, this is insane, this is murder, this is dumb, until race day. And when race day came, I realized, oh, when everyone else slowed their pace on the hills, I kept my consistent pace, and I thought, oh, training in the hard, when no one's looking, training in the hard kind of environments makes you fit for the race. And that's what Chambers is saying here. And I was saying about in my mom and dad's relationship, all the hard things they went through privately prepared them for all the other things that they did publicly. And people can look at someone and say, "Wow, look at that! That's really you're an awesome." And they have no idea what's going on in the background. You're an awesome couple. You guys are, and they don't know what's happened in the background. So anyway, all that said, if you have not been worshiping as occasion serves, Chambers says here. When you get into work, you will not only be useless yourself, this is actually, but a tremendous hindrance to those who are associated with you. So not only can you not be used by God if you're not doing the work behind the scenes to know God, to understand, and to be. That's one of the things. That's one of the reasons why personal Bible reading is absolutely the that is the key. It is the key to a healthy Christian life. Personal Bible reading by yourself in your prayer closet. Um, and so I truly think, and what's sad is that we all know it, and we all know what it takes to be healthy. We all know what it takes to be to stay at our ideal weight. We all know it's not rocket science. We all know that personal Bible reading, kind of ingesting Jesus in the Word that God's given us here, is the way to a healthy Christian life. But we just tend to neglect it because, well, I think it's because the our flesh knows that this is the hard thing that we have to do the heavy lifting. So anyway, hope that made a little bit of sense. You guys have an awesome day.